The call that changed everything. Captain Olivia Harrison was enjoying her morning coffee when the quantum comm chimed with an incoming priority message. These days, priority usually meant someone wanted to complain about her retirement from Earth's Special Operations Command. She'd learned to ignore most of them, but this call made her blood run cold. Captain Harrison. The holographic figure of Headmaster Xanthar flickered into view, his usually composed tentacles writhing with anxiety. There's been an incident during the Europa expedition. The coffee cup stopped halfway to her lips. What kind of incident? Your daughter Rose's group was exploring the ancient ruins when they went off course. We've lost contact. The cup shattered on the floor, hot liquid spreading across the pristine surface of her apartment's smart tiles. How long? Captain, please understand that we followed all safety proto. How long? 8 hours. Xanthar's image seemed to shrink. We wanted to conduct a thorough search before causing undue concern. Anyone who knew Captain Olivia Harrison would recognize the deadly calm that settled over her features. It was the same expression she'd worn before orchestrating the liberation of New Singapore from the Centaurian invasion fleet. The same look that made hardened mercenaries surrender without a shot fired. 8 hours, she repeated softly, already moving toward her weapons locker. You lost my daughter in the most dangerous ruins in the solar system, and you waited 8 hours to tell me. There are procedures, Captain. The Europa Protection Council requires. The Europa Protection Council can shove their procedures into a black hole. Olivia's voice could have frozen hydrogen. She pressed her palm against the locker's biometric scanner, revealing an arsenal that would make a small planetary defense force jealous. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to send me every scrap of data about Rose's last known location, the expedition manifest, and the names of every being who's been within a kilometer of those ruins in the last 24 hours. Captain, please, there are diplomatic channels. And then, she continued, sliding into her old tactical suit with practiced ease, you're going to contact the Europa Council and tell them that Olivia Harrison is coming. They'll remember me from the Titan incident. The headmaster's tentacles went completely still, the xenobiological equivalent of turning pale. The Titan incident. That was you. The one where an entire smuggling ring surrendered and begged for arrest after someone threatened to forward their private messages to their spawn mothers. Yes, that was me. Olivia checked her weapon systems as the suit came online. And that was when I was just doing my job. This is my daughter we're talking about. The tactical suit hummed to life, its systems recognizing their old master. Olivia hadn't worn it since retiring to raise Rose, but some skills never fade. Some instincts only grow stronger, like the instinct to protect your child. As she prepared her personal shuttle for launch, memories flooded back. Rose at age 5, already fascinated by the ancient alien artifacts that had been discovered throughout the solar system. Rose at 12, top of her xenorteology class. Dreams of following in the footsteps of humanity's greatest explorers. Rose at 16, practically bouncing with excitement when she was selected for the Europa expedition. Rose, who still couldn't remember to charge her quantum comm but could recite the entire history of the First Contact War. Who complained about temporal mechanics homework but spent hours helping younger students understand xenolinguistics. Who had her mother's determination and her late father's insatiable curiosity about the mysteries of the universe. Harrison to launch control. She spoke into the comm, her voice carrying the weight of someone who had not only memorized the regulations, but had written several chapters of them. Initiating Emergency Protocol M910. Protocol M910. The controller sounded confused. I don't see that in the standard emergency protocols. Check under Moves Most Mountains, subsection Mother's Wrath. You'll find all the authorization you need. The shuttle's engines roared to life as Olivia plotted her course to Europa. She began compiling a mental list of contacts she'd need to call, the favors she'd have to cash in, the threats she'd have to make. Hold on, sweetheart, she whispered, her fingers dancing across the control panel. Mom's coming. and heaven help anyone who stands in my way. Because while the solar system was vast and filled with wonders, it was about to learn a fundamental truth. Never come between a human mother and her child, especially if that mother happens to have command codes to Earth's most advanced weapon systems and a very particular set of skills that make her a nightmare for bureaucrats across 8 planets and 27 moons. The hunt was on, breaking through the ice belt. The Jovian ice belt was where dreams went to die, and where criminals went to thrive. Massive chunks of ice and rock created a treacherous maze between Mars and Jupiter, perfect for ambushes and illegal operations. Olivia's shuttle sliced through the darkness, her tactical displays highlighting multiple hostile signatures. Unidentified vessel. A gravelly voice crackled over her comms. This is ice belt control. Your trajectory indicates unauthorized passage through restricted space. Prepare for boarding and inspection. Olivia smiled. It wasn't a pleasant expression. Computer, identify that transmission source. Signal originates from the vessel Lucky Break, registered to Klaus Vendor, known associate of the Arcturus Syndicate. Pirates pretending to be border patrol, Olivia muttered. How original. She opened a channel. This is Captain Olivia Harrison. Perhaps you've heard of me. The Titan incident. The silence that followed was delicious. Harrison. A new voice, higher pitched with panic. The Harrison. The very same. Now we can do this 2 ways. You can tell me everything you know about human trafficking through this sector, or I can demonstrate why the Centaurian fleet named their strategic retreat protocols after me. 3 ships decloaked around her, their weapons powered down. Captain Harrison. The first voice returned, notably more respectful. We may have some information about a recent transport. Educational facility recruitment, they called it. Educational facility. Olivia's fingers tightened on her controls. Let me guess. They were particularly interested in human children. The Arcturus Syndicate pays well for specific cargo. We just manage the toll points, you understand. Oh, I understand perfectly. Olivia's voice could have frozen plasma. You're going to give me their route, their security codes, and everything else you know. In return, I won't forward your location to every law enforcement agency in the system. I hear prison food has improved since they started serving actual molecules. 5 minutes later, Olivia had what she needed. The Arcturus Syndicate, a criminal empire that had existed in the shadows of legitimate space for decades, had been quietly collecting human children. The question was why. Her tactical display lit up with new contacts. Captain, her computer announced, multiple vessels approaching. Configuration matches Syndicate Enforcement Squad. Perfect timing. Olivia cracked her knuckles. Let's see if they're feeling talkative. The first plasma burst nearly clipped her wing. Nearly. They didn't know they were dealing with the woman who'd written half the evasive maneuver protocols in Earth's combat manual. Computer, activate countermeasure suite Delta 7 and play something appropriate. The opening riffs of ancient Earth rock music filled her cabin as Olivia's shuttle danced between ice chunks and enemy fire. The Syndicate ships were good, but they'd never faced a mother operating on pure determination and 3 cups of coffee. Target their propulsion systems, she ordered, and broadcast on all frequencies. Let's see how they like some psychological warfare. Her computer complied, transmitting data packets to each enemy vessel. What did you send them? Their personal communications, financial records, and browser histories, all copied during their attempt to scan us. Also, a note that everything will be automatically forwarded to their families in 10 minutes unless they surrender. The effect was immediate. 2 ships powered down their weapons. The third tried to run, directly into an ice formation that Olivia had deliberately maneuvered them toward. Works every time, she muttered, bringing her shuttle alongside the disabled vessel. Now let's have a chat about where exactly this educational facility is located. The Syndicate captain, a burly Martian with cybernetic enhancements, tried to maintain his composure as Olivia boarded his ship. His crew had already surrendered, more afraid of their personal data being exposed than any physical threat. "You don't understand what you're interfering with," he growled. "The children, they're special. The humans don't even know what they have." "What I understand," Olivia replied, checking the ship's navigation logs, "is that you took my daughter. Everything else is just details I'm going to enjoy learning while I dismantle your entire operation. The Arcturus Council will never let you reach their fortress. Their defenses are impenetrable." Olivia patted his shoulder with mock sympathy. "That's adorable. You think walls and weapons can stop a mother who once made an entire pirate fleet apologize to their victims' grandmothers." She leaned closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "I once convinced the Jovian Defense Network to stand down by threatening to reveal their commander's childhood nickname. Would you like to know yours? Your mother was quite chatty when I called her earlier." The captain's cybernetic eye twitched. "You're bluffing." "Am I?" Little Sparkletoes. His surrender was immediate and complete. As Olivia plotted her course to the coordinates she'd extracted, she reviewed what she'd learned. The Arcturus Syndicate wasn't just trafficking human children. They were specifically selecting ones with high academic achievements, particularly in archaeology and temporal mechanics, Rose's exact specialties. Computer, analyze the pattern. Why would they need children with those specific skills? Processing. Captain, correlating with recent astronomical data. The Europa ruins where Rose's group disappeared. They're not the only ones. Similar structures have been appearing throughout the system, all apparently activated within the last month. Olivia's eyes narrowed. They're not kidnapping children. They're recruiting them. The question is, for what? Her shuttle's engines hummed as she accelerated toward the asteroid belt where the Syndicate made their headquarters. Behind her, the Ice Belt pirates were already spreading the word. Harrison was back, and she was angry. The hunt was evolving into something bigger than a rescue mission. But for Olivia, it changed nothing. She was getting her daughter back, and if she had to tear apart a criminal empire to do it, well, that would just be a bonus. "Hold on, Rose," she whispered to the stars. "Whatever they want you for, whatever they're planning, Mom's coming. And I'm bringing the big guns." The Arcturus fortress waited ahead, its defenses bristling with enough firepower to stop a small fleet. But they'd never faced a mother armed with determination, combat experience, and an absolutely spectacular collection of embarrassing personal data about their leadership. Time to crash their party. The Syndicate's shadow. Ganymede Station hung in space like a tarnished silver dollar, its once pristine surfaces now covered in centuries of modifications and questionable additions. It was the perfect place to gather information, if you knew how to navigate its shadowy underworld. Fortunately, Olivia Harrison wrote the book on shadow operations. Literally. She docked her shuttle under a false ID, using credentials borrowed from the Ice Belt pirates. The station's customs official, a bored-looking Europan with translucent skin, barely glanced at her documents. "Purpose of visit," he droned. "Shopping for vintage Earth memorabilia," Olivia replied with a practiced tourist's enthusiasm. "I heard the rusty airlock has quite the collection." The official's bioluminescent spots flickered. The secret signal she'd been waiting for. Her Ice Belt friends had called ahead after all. Indeed, he stamped her documents. Though you might find the broken compass more informative. Walking through Ganymede's crowded corridors, Olivia's tactical suit analyzed everything under its civilian camouflage. 3 pickpockets avoided her, their implants warning them about her dangerous biometric readings. 2 surveillance drones tracked her movement until she looped their feeds. 1 Martian enforcer actually crossed the street to avoid her path. The broken compass lived up to its name. A dingy bar where everyone seemed lost, but somehow knew exactly where they were. Olivia took a seat at the counter, ordering whatever's least likely to violate interstellar chemistry laws. "Most folks who come here want to forget," a gravelly voice said beside her. "But you're looking for something specific." Olivia turned to face a massive figure whose species she couldn't quite identify. Cybernetics and biological modifications had obscured their original form. Their name tag read Val. What makes you say that? Because Val's mechanical eye word. I recognize that look. The one that says someone took something precious from you. The one that promises violence with mathematical precision. Olivia studied them carefully. Your former military. Syndicate enforcer, actually. Until they took my daughter too. The ice in Olivia's glass crackled. Tell me everything. Val's story poured out like old engine oil, dark and heavy with residue. The Arcturus Syndicate had been collecting gifted children for months, all with specific talents. Xenorchaeology, temporal mechanics, ancient languages. They were being gathered at a facility called the Crucible. But here's the thing. Val leaned closer, voice dropping. It's not just the Syndicate. They're working with someone else. Something else. The kids, they're not being harmed. They're being prepared. For what? The ruins. Val's organic eye darted around nervously. They're not just ancient artifacts. They're starting to wake up. All of them. Simultaneously. And only the children can. An explosion rocked the station. Emergency sirens wailed as smoke filled the corridor outside. They're here. Val grabbed Olivia's arm. Syndicate cleanup crew. They don't like it when people ask too many questions about the Crucible. How many? 2 full squads. Heavy weapons. Neural scramblers. Olivia smiled that particular smile that had once made a Neptunian war chief surrender his entire fleet. Perfect. I was getting bored. The first Syndicate agent burst through the door, brandishing a plasma rifle. He didn't even see Olivia move. One moment he was shouting demands. The next he was face down on the bar, his own weapon disassembled beside him. Anyone else want to interrupt my conversation? Olivia called out pleasantly. I've had a very frustrating few days, and I'd love an excuse to work through some feelings. A neural scrambler bolt sizzled past her head. 3 more agents took up positions behind overturned tables. The hard way it is, Olivia sighed. Computer. Activate sonic countermeasures. Play something festive. Ancient Earth holiday music suddenly blasted through the station's speakers at frequencies specifically calibrated to disrupt neural implants. Half the agents dropped their weapons, clutching their heads. What is this horrible noise? One screamed. Jingle bells. Olivia replied, vaulting over the bar. Wait until you hear Grandma got run over by a reindeer. The fight was brief, surgical, and extremely educational, especially for the Syndicate agents, who learned several new things. First, that their top-of-the-line combat implants could be overridden by carefully modulated Christmas carols. Second, that their unbreakable encryption could be cracked by a very motivated mother with military-grade hacking software. And third, that said mother had just downloaded their entire personal database. Now, Olivia addressed the groaning agents while Val zip-tied them. Let's discuss the Crucible, the ruins, and why exactly you want our children. Anyone want to volunteer information, or should I start sending your private messages to your family group chats? You don't understand, one agent spat blood. The ruins, they're not just ruins. They're a test, a gateway. And human children are the only ones who can interface with them. Why? Because, Val's mechanical eye word thoughtfully, human children still dream. Really dream. All other species lose that ability at maturity. The ruins, they respond to dreamers. Olivia's mind raced. Rose's fascination with the artifacts. Her intuitive understanding of their patterns. The way she'd always said they felt alive. The Crucible isn't a prison, Val continued. It's a training facility. They're preparing the children for something big. Something about to happen across the entire system. Where is it? Coordinates encrypted in their comm units. Val was already accessing the fallen agent's equipment. But Harrison, it's a fortress. Army of mercenaries. Defensive grid that would make a planetary military jealous. Good. Olivia checked her weapons. That will make it more satisfying when I take it apart piece by piece. She turned to Val. Coming. You're going to assault a syndicate fortress, just like that. No, Olivia's smile was pure predator. First, I'm going to call some old friends. Then I'm going to activate every embarrassing electronic billboard in this sector. And then I'm going to remind the Arcturus Syndicate why they should have chosen a different profession. As they headed for her shuttle, emergency crews still dealing with the chaos of their brief battle, Olivia's determination hardened into certainty. She was getting closer. The ruins, the children, the dreams, it was all connected. And at the center of it all was her daughter. Hold on, Rose, she whispered. Mom's almost there. And I'm bringing company. Behind them, Ganymede station speakers were still playing Christmas carols. Several syndicate agents were unconsciously humming along, their neural implants thoroughly scrambled by Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. The hunt was entering its final phase, and Olivia Harrison was done playing nice. The Arcturus fortress loomed before them, a massive structure carved into an asteroid nicknamed the Crown. Its surface bristled with defense turrets, sensor arrays, and enough firepower to discourage any sane person from attacking. Fortunately, Olivia Harrison had left sane behind somewhere around the ice belt. That's a lot of guns, Val observed from the co-pilot's seat. Please tell me you have a plan that doesn't involve charging straight in. Of course, Olivia's fingers danced across her control panel. I'm going to ring the doorbell. You're going to what? Olivia opened a channel to the fortress. Arcturus Command, this is delivery vessel Spinning Star, requesting docking clearance. We have your weekly shipment of artisanal coffee from Europa. Val's mechanical eye whirred in disbelief. That's your plan? Pretending to be a coffee delivery? No, Olivia smiled. That's just to get their attention. Computer, execute Operation Earworm. Suddenly, every communications channel in the sector erupted with the most notorious song in human history, Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. But this wasn't just music. Hidden in the ancient melody was a virus specifically designed to target military-grade security systems. You're rickrolling a criminal fortress. The best pranks are also tactical advantages, Olivia explained as warning lights began flashing across the fortress. Their automated defense grid runs on quantum algorithms, very sophisticated. Unfortunately, they share one weakness with every computer system ever built. They can't resist checking unexpected data packets. Inside the fortress, chaos erupted. Security screens flickered between alerts and dance moves. Defensive turrets began swaying to the beat. The main hangar doors opened and closed in perfect rhythm to the chorus. Plus, Olivia added, I may have borrowed their entire command staff's personal data during our little scuffle on Ganymede. Would be a shame if their most embarrassing messages started broadcasting on every screen in the fortress. The comm crackled. Unidentified vessel, cease this attack immediately or what? Olivia cut in. You'll tell everyone about Administrator Vex's stuffed animal collection, or maybe Security Chief Krell's poorly written teenage poetry. Let's negotiate. 10 minutes later, they were walking through the fortress's main corridor, surrounded by very nervous-looking guards. They're being surprisingly cooperative, Val whispered. Amazing what people will do when you threaten to reveal their browser history to their mothers, Olivia replied. Now, where are they keeping the children? A Mother's Victory, Part 5. The Crucible turned out to be less of a prison and more of a theater. Dozens of children from various colonies sat in a circular chamber, their attention focused on holographic displays of the ruins. And at the center of it all, directing some kind of experiment, was Rose. Mom. Rose looked up as Olivia burst in, weapons ready. What are you? Wait, are you wearing your old tactical suit? Rose. Olivia rushed forward, then stopped short. Are you teaching? Well, yeah, Rose gestured to the other children. Someone had to explain how the ruins' quantum resonance patterns interact with human theta waves. The syndicate scientists were getting it all wrong. What? An elderly figure stepped forward. Admiral Chen, who'd disappeared 6 months ago after claiming he'd discovered something extraordinary about the ruins. Captain Harrison, he smiled warmly. I suppose I owe you an explanation. Several. Olivia's weapon remained steady, starting with why you're working with criminals to kidnap children. Kidnap? Rose laughed. Mom, we called them. All of us. The ruins. They've been calling us. We're the only ones who can hear them. Over the next hour, the truth emerged. The ruins weren't just ancient artifacts. They were pieces of a vast neural network, left behind by a civilization that had transcended physical form. They were looking for successors, for minds that could still dream beyond the boundaries of conventional physics. And human children, with their unique capacity for imagination and innovation, were the key. The Syndicate didn't create this program, Admiral Chen explained. They just found out about it and tried to profit from it. We've been working to protect the children while they learn to communicate with the ruins, by letting their parents think they'd been kidnapped. Rose stepped forward. Mom, we couldn't tell anyone. Not until we understood what was happening. The ruins are waking up because they've found what they were waiting for, a species that can help them rebuild the network. We're going to be part of something amazing. Olivia looked at her daughter, really looked at her. Rose wasn't just excited. She was radiant with purpose. All around them, other children were manipulating complex holographic models of space-time with the casual ease of artists painting with light. The ruins respond to imagination, Rose continued, to creativity and dreams. That's why they chose us. We're going to help them rebuild their network, Mom. We're going to connect the entire galaxy. Before Olivia could respond, alarms blared. Val's mechanical eye spun rapidly. Multiple ships dropping out of FTL, they reported. Corporate mercenaries. Looks like someone else found out about the program. Olivia checked her tactical display. 50 ships. They're not here to negotiate. They're here to take control of the ruins, Admiral Chen confirmed. If they capture this facility. They won't. Olivia's voice carried the same tone that had once made a pirate fleet surrender without a shot fired. Rose, honey, remember how you used to say the ruins felt alive to you? They are alive, Mom. In a way we're just beginning to understand. Good. Then let's show these mercenaries why they should have stayed in bed today. Children. She raised her voice. Who wants to help hack a mercenary fleet using ancient alien technology? The next 20 minutes would go down in solar system history as the Harmony of Havoc. 50 state-of-the-art warships found themselves thoroughly defeated by a group of teenagers armed with nothing but imagination and access to a prehistoric alien neural network. Their weapons systems began playing classical music. Their navigation computers plotted courses in the shape of dinner plates. Their encrypted communications were replaced with cat videos. In the end, the mercenary commander surrendered after his flagship's AI developed a passionate interest in Earth soap operas and refused to do anything but discuss plot twists. Aftermath. The truth about the ruins became public knowledge. The Arcturus Syndicate was disbanded, though many of its resources were redirected to supporting the new Dreamers Academy, a legitimate institution where children could safely learn to interact with the ruins. As for Olivia Harrison, she took a new job as head of security for the Academy. These days, she spends her time making sure no one interferes with humanity's first steps into a larger universe. And if sometimes the ruins' defensive systems mysteriously start playing "Never Gonna Give You Up" when unauthorized ships approach, well, some pranks are also tactical advantages. You know, Rose said one evening, as they watched the sunset from the Academy's observation deck, you didn't have to conquer 3 space stations, rickroll a criminal empire, and traumatize several mercenary fleets just to find me. Of course I did, Olivia replied, sipping her coffee. I'm your mother. And somewhere in the vast network of ancient ruins, something that had waited eons for minds that could still dream smiled, because it had finally found what it was looking for, not just in humanity's children, but in the incredible lengths their parents would go to protect them. The universe would never be the same. And that was perfectly fine with Captain Olivia Harrison, who had discovered that while conquering space stations was impressive, watching her daughter help reshape the future of human-alien relations was even better. Though she did keep the tactical suit, just in case.